Hello, I'm Kim Granados with the ACES staff, and I want to welcome everyone to today's webinar, part of our Meet the Authors series entitled Text Mining for Information Professionals in Uncharted Territory. Our moderator today is Steve Harden of Indiana State University. I'd like to ask the audience to type your questions into the question panel box, and they will be answered at the end of the presentation. This session is being recorded, and the recording will be available within 24 hours and will be sent to all registrants. I will now turn this session over to Steve, who will introduce our presenter.
Thanks, Kim. We have a really great book to discuss today. Uh, all information scientists know that the amount of text and data being generated is increasing at an exponential rate. So how do we get a handle on it? Text mining, of course. Today's guest has co-authored a book detailing how to do text mining and do it well. She's Monica Lamba, who recently completed her PhD in Library and Information Science at the University of Delhi in India. The book is Text Mining for Information Professionals, an Uncharted Territory. Gosh. She wrote it with Margam Mahusadan. I knew I was going to mess that name up, sorry. A professor in the Department of Library and Information Sciences at the University of Delhi in India. The book was published in 2022 by Springer and is available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and wherever quality books are sold. Monica will make a presentation about her book, and then you'll have plenty of time to pose your questions about it. Just use the Questions tab in your GoToMeeting software. And now, I'll turn things over to Monica Lamba.
Thank you, Steve, for such a wonderful introduction. So just to rephrase what he says, I'm Monica Lamba. Currently I'm a postdoctoral research associate at the School of Information Sciences at University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. I have earned my PhD in Library Information Sciences from University of Delhi, India, and my research focuses on information organization, health and social informatics, science using text mining, NLP, and machine learning techniques. My co-author is Dr. Margam Madhusudan. He's a professor at the Department of Library Information Sciences, and he has more than 20 years of experience in teaching, administration, and research at the university level. So coming directly dive into the book. So as you know, like within long leap from paper to digitization, the burden on libraries and librarians have increased to manage, organize, and generate knowledge from such a massive amount of data stored in their repository, databases, and websites. As libraries deal with such a higher percentage of textual data daily, our book focuses primarily on textual data and present various text mining approaches through a new lens. So text mining is very efficient, fast, and effective way of managing and extracting knowledge from existing data stored in the archives of the libraries. Our book will make every library information professional competent to use text mining in their daily life and get best out of it by serving their patrons, researchers, faculty, or scientists with new services. Additionally, the book will be helpful to archivists, digital curators, or any other humanities and social science professional who want to understand the basic theory behind text data, text mining, and various tools and techniques available to solve and visualize their research problems. So this book contains 11 chapters, 14 case studies, and it uses eight different text mining techniques with 17 stories. So it is compiled, like also have a website and a GitHub repository with this book where the code, data, and notebook of the case studies are there. And also there is a link for virtual art studio environment. So in this environment, you don't have to know anything about how to download our program, R, or know anything about it, and it gives you an hands-on experience on the cloud without installing any software. It also consists, so during writing this book, we also interviewed, so it has a story section. So during writing this book, we also interviewed librarians, researchers who are using text mining in their libraries or in their lives to solving real world problem or in their research. So let me quickly show you the website. Yeah, okay. So here's the website of the book. If you go to the main page, it will look like this. It is hosted at textmining-infopros.github.io. So here we have this story section in which it gives you a snippets about different people, like different stories where we got to know, where we interviewed the people, but because of copyright issue we couldn't have the whole stories, but just a small snippet and the title, and also the details about the people or the librarians and the researcher who are doing this fantastic work. So, and also there are some kind of supplementary material, like if they chose to give us, you can go there and know more about it. It also have a tab on case studies, so all the case studies which we have used in the book is there. So if you want to learn like have to have hands-on, you can just go there and click on interactive art studio. It will take some time to load, but at the end you will get such this kind of interface. And here any of the like click on the file which consists of .r. I think, yeah, it's just having some technical problem, but because I run it yesterday to show you, so just put .r and it will work. So yeah, I just want to show you this briefly. Now coming back to the presentation. Okay. So this was the overview of the website, and over there on the website also you could go to the GitHub repository and check all the material is available there for free. Now I will briefly tell you a little bit about each, summarize each chapter and give you like a overview of them. So first chapter in the book is on competition library. So, a competition library is an amalgamation of both competition thinking and competition methods. Competition methods are being used in many social science and humanities disciplines to exploit the digital trace data to answer different research questions, whereas competition thinking corresponds to the thought process that is employed to develop problems and solutions. It includes breaking down problems into smaller parts and looking for patterns, identifying principles that generate these patterns, and developing instructions that the computers, machine, and people can understand. It is an approach to critical thinking that can be solve a problem across all the discipline. So in libraries have already been involved in various critical thinking literacies. The two examples are the Library Ready to Code, which is an initiative by Google's computer science education team, and ELA, which started from fall 2017 through summer 2018. It's kickstarted, and it is an online set of resources in partnership with 30 libraries to guide libraries to facilitate coding and computational thinking program for youth and the library staff that support them. Another example is the TIMDEX by the MIT libraries, where TIMDEX indexes theses, online journals, and the entire catalog of electronic and subscribed books and other resources owned by MIT libraries. Okay, so coming to text mining in libraries, this is not a very new technique in this sense, and it just started in libraries. As you can see, just a second, and from uh, 1918, sorry, 1898, where the earlier attempts were made to summarize the large bodies of science abstracts. And then in 1948, we have the Shannon's new discipline of information theory. Then in 1958, we have Lewin conducted a computer adaptive approach to generate document abstract, followed by in 1961 when Doyle extended the work of Lewin by classifying the information. And then in 1992, we have Cutting et al. Provided an early caustic analysis, and in 1995, we have NLP, which was developed from elements of linguistic and information sciences with a focus on processing answers to questions. Then in 2000, the NLP practitioner produced features of newer text categorization techniques for tagging documents. And in 2002, we have query-based clustering. And finally, in 2004, we have what we call text mining or analytics. So as you have seen that the early text mining tasks in information sciences, library science, and NLP were primarily related to different forms of information summarization and information retrieval, but the later text mining tasks were more focused on information extraction. So, what is text mining? Text mining is a process of automatically extracting information from the text with the aim of generating new knowledge. It is a specialized interdisciplinary field combining techniques from linguistic, computer science, and statistics to build tools that can be efficiently retrieve and extract information from digital text. It assists in automatic classification of documents, and you can say in text mining, the words are the attributes and the documents are the cases or the records. Together, these form a sample of data which can be fed in any well-known learning methods. So, different text mining tasks consist of document classification, information retrieval, clustering, and information extraction. So, this first chapter introduced as you have seen, the concept of computational research, thinking in libraries. It also covered the basic concept of text mining, the need of text mining in libraries, understanding the text characteristics, and identifying different text mining problems. It presents various use cases of libraries that have applied text mining techniques and enumerates various costs and limitation benefit related to text mining. Also, this chapter is followed by a case study showing the clustering of documents using two different tools. Coming to the second chapter of the book, which is on text data and where to find them. So here, as you've seen that mostly before 2000, all of the resources we were having in libraries and archives were analog. But from 2000 onward, there was such a steep exponential growth of digital resources that also it go hand by hand with the computing power. So we also from 2000 we saw a very high increase in computing power. So together these two shifts hold the potential to significantly expand the scope of research in many different fields. So the various open source platform and tools help to retrieve digital trace data such as tweets, Wikipedia pages, YouTube comments, Facebook posts, articles, and newspaper by using API provided by the databases. Some of the popular platform of that offer the free access to the digital trace data are summarized in this table in the book. And the second table shows the various libraries in R and Python from which one can retrieve digital trace data from various databases and sources with specific API restrictions. And this chapter in the book also covers more about where to get data from online repositories, relational databases, web APIs, and how to get it using web scraping. So this chapter throws light on the standard data file type with their uses, advantages, and disadvantages. It also covered the various functions, user components, and importance of metadata. Then the second part of the chapter consists the importance and inclusion of optical character recognition for digitized data, followed by different ways of getting data from online repositories, relation databases, and so on. Finally, we have some also essential application of APIs for librarians and what purpose the libraries can use them indeed to do their work. So the next chapter in the book is on text pre-processing. So for any text analysis process, we need some kind of text preparation and cleaning. Okay, so for that, we need to first transfer the textual data into a more structured format, like this, in numerical numbering in tabular format. So here we can see if we have some text and a document number, then we have to convert it into a tabular matrix where the column represents the document number and the words are in the rows, and in between we fill in the number of occurrence, how many times they occurred. And this, after having the text in such structural format, we can have go through the text pre-processing process, exploratory text analysis, NLP annotation, and have some text mining model, and finally we can visualize those. So this chapter on text preprocessing focuses on the theoretical framework of text data preprocessing. It also describes the three levels of text representation at lexical, syntactic, and semantic. And it further explains the concept of background words, word embedding, term frequency and weighting, named entity extraction and parsing. And this chapter is followed by a case study showing text analysis of Tolkien's books, a web project developed by Emil Johnson. So after this text processing, we come to chapter 4, which is on topic modeling. So a topic can be defined as a main idea which is discussed in a text. Topics are simply groups of words from collection of documents that represent the information in a collection in a best way. It is a text mining approach to understand, organize, process, extract, manage, and summarize knowledge. It is mostly based on statistical and machine learning techniques to mine meaningful information from a vast corpus of unstructured data, and it is used to mine documents content. So, and also for any topic modeling process, we need a subject and expert or human in loop to label the topics. So in libraries, topic modeling can be used for making anthologies, automatic subject classification, for bibliometric, allometric studies, and recommendation services, uh, organization management of resources, and for better searching and information retrieval of the resources. So this chapter is give a comprehensive conceptual framework related to topic modeling, tools, and ways to visualize topic models. And this chapter is also followed by a case study using three different tools to demonstrate the application of topic modeling in libraries. Then we come to chapter 5, which is on text network analysis. So, in 2005, Dessner and colleague coined the phrase text network analysis. It consists of collection of text which can be presented as a text networks, where each node represents a text and the edges shows the similarity between the words used in two or more documents. A text network can also be used to visualize individual words as nodes and their frequency with which they co-occur in the text as the edges. The text network analysis is kind of similar to topic modeling, where you can cluster words in latent themes or topics in the form of word-based projection. Text analysis methods have been actively be used by researchers and library practitioners in library information science domains over the years to perform content analysis, keyword analysis, and knowledge graphs. So the various use case of text network analysis in libraries are visualizing ontology, content analysis, bibliometrics, knowledge graph, and knowledge management. And this chapter covers the theoretical framework for network text analysis, including the advantages, disadvantages, and various essential features. It also covers the various open source tools that can be used to perform text analysis, network analysis, and it also consists of various use cases. And also this chapter is followed by two case studies to perform network analysis using bibliometrics and text net packages in R programming language. So the next chapter is on burst detection. Burst detection is a temporal analysis that aims to identify the nature of phenomena represented by the sequence or observations, such as patterns, your trends, seasonality, outlier, or burst of activities. It can be used to understand the temporal distance, such as most emerging or trending terms, growth of terms, or forecasting, that is, predicting the future values. So topic modeling has difficulty in correlating, linking the topics together between the subsequent steps, whereas the burst detection shine in this and help to first identify the bursted terms in dataset and then cluster them together into topics. So in libraries, burst detection can help to track the trending topics discussed by libraries on social media platform or subject of popular books being borrowed by library users. It can also use for bibliometric studies to understand the emergence of a concept and many more things. So this chapter provides a theoretical framework on burst detection, including its advantages, disadvantages, and other essential features. It further enumerates various open source tools to perform the burst detection and various use cases of how the information professional can use them in their daily life. Also, this chapter is followed by a case study using two different tools to demonstrate the application of burst detection in libraries. Now, next, the chapter 7 is on sentiment analysis. So, sentiment analysis is a natural language processing technique which identifies the important terms of information and features from a large corpus of data. It can analyze anything from thoughts, attitudes, views, opinions, comments, requests, questions, prefaces, which are expressed by author. And the text can be anything from blog posts to database sources, online forms, speeches, data, and documents. And then it classifies the author's feeling into polarities like positive, negative, or neutral, in subjectivity like objective or subjective, and also emotions like if the author is angry or happy or surprised, sad, or jealous. So in libraries, sentiment analysis can be conducted on text data retrieved from social media platform, digital or digitized survey feedbacks, live librarians chat archive, or reviews of books or comments on library management systems. This can provide insight into the satisfaction level of the library user for the products and services which are offered and organized by libraries. And sentiment analysis can help to identify the influential players in the network of libraries on social media, and this can help you to give better services to your user if your competitive libraries are giving some different kind of services. And the libraries can leverage such rich data sources and making informed purchase decision and policies. So this chapter gives a theoretical framework and use cases of sentiment analysis in libraries, and this is also followed by a case study where we showed the application of sentiment analysis and libraries using two different tools. So the next chapter after this is on predictive modeling. So traditionally, human analyze the data, but the volume of data surpasses their ability to make sense of it, which made them to automate the system so that they can learn from the data. In most computing problems that which need to be solved, a script is written manually, and that further include a series of steps to solve the particular problem. For example, the in speech recognition, it is very difficult to write a program manually. So, machine learning predictive modeling predictive modeling is a technique that helps to learn complex rules efficiently, and it uses labeled instances for called training dataset to instead of programming to learn the rules. This chapter covers a comprehensive theoretical framework on supervised machine learning or predictive modeling. It also covers various biases, challenges, solutions, and use cases of predictive modeling in libraries, and also a case study of this is followed by a case study of how library professional can use predictive modeling to index or tag future textual resources without repeating the text mining technique again and again. So the ninth chapter in the book is on information visualization. Visualization is, as you know, is a way to store information out of our minds and make it accessible through our eyes. Whereas information visualization helps to transform this data into a visual representation. It teaches how to design, evaluate, and develop the interactive visualization to help people generate insights and then communicate with them, with other people effectively. So one can ask, why do we use data and or why do we visualize it? So it is not that because we are interested in data itself, but we want it because we want it because it is an abstract representation of some reality or some phenomena which we find interesting. So in this chapter, we built a we cover theoretical framework of visual information visualization with particular focus on libraries. It exhibit and explains different kind of graphs, fundamental, advanced graphs, and text and document visualization in detail. It also enumerates various rules on visual design and use cases from libraries to understand how it can be how to understand the information visualization concept and how they can be applied in libraries. This case study is followed by how to build a dashboard in R, and this chapter will be useful for information professionals who are new to the concept of information visualization or want to know more about it or just want to visualize their own library data. So the next chapter is on tools and techniques which can be used for text mining and visualization. So a large number of machine learning and data mining tools have been created in the past 25 years. But with the growth of the industry 4.0, there are more software and platform to produce such tools for text and data mining, and both Web 4.0 and Industry 4.0 have amalgamated to give or combined to give form to what is now we call Library 4.0. So the Library 4.0 is an intelligent library which evaluates the significant data function to analyze information and then uses the analyzed result for decision making. And with the increased demand to visualize the result from substantial amount of textual data on web, information visualization is receiving considerable importance in your daily life and in research. So this chapter it covers 19 popular open access text mining and visualization tools, including R, Topic Modeling Tool by Google, RapidMiner, Veka, Orange, Viant Tools, Gephi, Tableau, Infogram, Microsoft Power BI, and so on. And also it gives them what are their application and how can you use it, and in addition to the pros and cons of using them and in which scenario you should use it. Also, there are many text mining and visualization tools available in the market, but in this chapter we only covered the open source tools that have a simple GUI so that information professionals who are new to these tools can learn to use them and implement them in their daily life. So the last chapter in this book is on text data and mining ethics. So in this chapter, we cover the ethical framework of text mining of databases. So if you are a library professional or you want to know if you can do text mining on this in this data repository. Can you do it or not? So we have that we have made a framework for that. Also, it also covers the ethical framework for analyzing the social media data, which you get from any social media platform like Facebook or YouTube. So, what are the legality and the privacy and risk for associated with them? This chapter also includes the do's and don'ts of using text data mining or text mining for by the librarians, which is adapted by McNice of paper. And then it also include the different issues or solution related to biasness. It also include we also covered algorithm confounding biasness and large language model biasness, that how they can affect and your data structure or the models. And finally, we also included major publishers like Elsevier, Wiley, Springer, and Emerald. Like, if do they allow text mining, and at which scenario? So, before leaping to the critical legalities and ethical issues related to text mining, this chapter also covers the importance of data management for text mining, the life cycle of research data, data management plan, and which strategize various data security, legal and ethical constraint, data citation, and data sharing. And also this chapter covers all of this concept in addition to legal and ethical issues related to text mining, such as copyright licenses, fair use, creative commons, digital management right, algorithm confounding, large language models biasness, and social media research. So this also, as I've shown, these also include the do's and don'ts for the librarians for text mining. So, coming to the conclusion, the rise of machine learning and artificial intelligence has ushered in a new era across various disciplines, including the field of library and information science. Text mining is a versatile tool that can be applied across various types of libraries, from schools to universities and special libraries, making it accessible to a wide range of information professionals. And as we continue to embrace the power of artificial intelligence, data analytics, text mining emerges as a vital tool in the modern librarian's arsenal, unlocking new possibilities for the future of libraries and information science. Thank you, and you can reach to me with any questions or concerns to my mail at monica@illinois.edu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Monica. That's a really great presentation. Raised a lot of interesting issues and a lot of interesting questions. Folks, use that questions tab. It's in the upper right corner of your GoToMeeting software, and post your own questions. I mean, you can use the email that she suggested just then, but why not talk to her right now live? You can save yourself some trouble. Again, the questions tab is up there in the upper right corner. While we're waiting for some folks to ask some questions, I'll start backwards in the book. We'll start with chapter 11 instead of chapter 1. Um, chapter 11 outlines a lot of legal considerations for the use of data. Most researchers aren't attorneys, so how do they stay on top of all those laws and regulations?
Mostly, like in my book, I have covered mostly as an example of EU, because in European Union have most of their text data mining copyright issues very clearly, whereas it is not. So it depends on in which country you are. For example, in United States, we don't have that clearly copyright issues lined up for text and data mining. They are going they are working on it, but during the writing of the book and even right now, I don't find any clarifications for many things. So I took example of European Union from European countries, because they have very clear, detailed and clarified reports on those. So I will first suggest to first find in which country you are and in which country you want to, which the databases you have, and then contact the publisher or the vendors to ask like, can you do text mining on this from this repository or from this website. So if it's open or accessible, doesn't mean you can do text mining on that. You can't do web scraping or any kind of techniques like this. You have to ask for permissions. If they didn't have anything written clearly on the website or their terms of conditions, it's good to ask. Send them a mail and ask.
Yeah, and document in case there's a problem later on. Okay, good.
Yes.
Uh, Also in chapter 11, you discuss the importance of researchers using the FAIR principles of findability, accessibility, interoperability, and reusability to make their data easier to use, or reuse, I should say. Do you have any idea what percentage of researchers actually use the FAIR principles?
Mm. I'm not sure about it, but I think here where librarians come along, right? So there are
Mhm.
copyright librarians, at least in we have in U.S. context, like in my own university. So there is a copyright librarian. So if I or any researcher or faculty in my university have any such problems in where we want to know, like, is this come along under the fair use? So if we are not sure, we just talk to him. So I think the best way is
That's a
talk to your librarian.
That's a good idea, and you're right. Smart universities or libraries have a copyright librarian. It's certainly a good thing to have. I really like when you put this book together how you include relevant URLs at the bottom of each page where certain sites are discussed in the text. Uh, I happen to use a print copy of the book, and I kind of wish I had bought an e-copy because then I could have just clicked on the various links and gone right to them. But this is a really nice folks, I can't say this enough. This is a really well designed and well written book. And then I also like how you include a section in each chapter about the chapter's topic as it relates to the librarians. This makes your book far more relevant to people in the library business. You make an interesting statement in chapter 2 where you say metadata is as valuable as data. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
So yeah, so in today's context, I don't think, because most of your data is online, right? So I don't think data is complete without metadata. So you need to have metadata for organization, for searching. If we don't have any metadata associated with the data, it's just like finding a pin in like a thousand of like the hack, right? So it's very difficult to search for any document if you don't have any metadata included, associated with it. So yeah, as there is a rise of data, we also have to work on metadata, and that's why this text mining techniques will be used. Like for example, topic modeling helps you to for the automatic classifications for indexing purposes. So you can use this technique like topic modeling to tag your documents based on the subdomains of the document, and this will help you to classify and enrich your metadata.
Metadata without I can't talk without metadata. It's kind of like having a library collection without a catalog. You have a whole bunch of books
Yes.
there, but you don't know where they are. Okay. Uh, One of the library stories you include in your book, Alex Wormer Colin's story about Temple's University text mining project, shows how copyright laws hinder access to modern fiction. How can copyrighted works best be studied with text mining?
Mm, so as I already discussed, like you have to go through, like I also in this book, just a second, I think I covered like this framework. So there are a few ethical frameworks that were prepared in the book where you can see that if if that resource have a text mining license or not, and then it gives you like if it is or not and what next you should do, right? So like this you can on first on individual level you can check. Otherwise, like I suggested earlier, just see in which country, country database you're trying to work with. Talk to the publisher, send a mail and document, and yeah, just ask for, because these this kind of, for example, even this framework which I use for, which are the table I made from different major publishers. So this was done in 2021, so it might have changed with today's generative AI, right? So how people are using generative AI or LLMs or chat GPT in their research, so they would have uh, definitely updated their copyright documents. So it nowadays it's very fast, like it changes like every other week or in months. So it's better to see their recent document, and also contact the publisher and ask if you're in any doubt.
Yeah, that's always a good plan. Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned AI, generative AI, because that's certainly the hot topic these days. Uh, any thoughts on how generative AI is affecting the whole process of text mining?
um like I don't know, like even before the generative AI came, like the chat GPT come along, the work on this is has been going along from a long time. So that's why in the last chapter also we included the how there's biasness related to large language models. So it is not a very new concept as such. So for example, in the book also we have covered, like if you are working with vulnerable populations from social media, how to take care of that. um, so in this context, yeah, but yeah, as with working with generative AI, for example, now there have been research going on, like how people on social media or like Reddit post or Quora, they are using the chat GPT to prepare their questions, right, and then post
Mhm.
it. So if you want to research on certain topics, for example, any topic related to your media or politics, so they can be very you won't get very enriched data like you used to do earlier for but yeah, that's the one issue which I think is there.
Yeah, I imagine it'll have an impact on almost everything sooner or later, the way it's
Yes.
growing. Okay, uh, chapter three. I'm skipping over the book. I hope you don't mind too much. It's all about text pre-processing, which I have to admit is something I hadn't thought about before I read your book. Uh, in your experience, what are the most common problems involved in text pre-processing?
So the most common is mostly like when you convert the, for example, if you're converting the PDF to text, right? Then there's very so many OSHA problems. So that's the major issue when you're working with text data. That if you get your data from microfilmed or PDF, or you're working with very old data in like 19th or early 18th, 16th, 17th centuries. So and those so and also the handwriting, if you are working with handwritten documents, are so when you convert them into text you don't get very good quality. So
Mm,
the most
right.
work is you have to do is data cleaning. So the most of the time, like there are memes around it, like in any text mining or data mining work, 80 or 90% you're just working with data cleaning, and then you go and build your next model, or what kind of technique you want to use.
Mm, good point. Yeah, I think about optical character recognition (OCR), and it's good, but it's generally not perfect. And yeah, you do have to do an awful lot, make sure it really makes sense. It's sometimes, and you've probably seen this too, you maybe get closed captioning on a video or something, and the captions don't make any sense whatever. They're doing the best they can, but yeah. So pre-processing, extremely important. Folks, we still have plenty of time for questions. Use that questions tab in the upper right corner of your computer screen, and you can be talking directly to Dr. Monica Lamba, the co-author of Text Mining for Information Professionals, an Uncharted Territory. Use that questions tab, and that way you don't have to listen to me all the time. I'd like to hear what you have to say about this book. Let's talk a little bit about topic modeling, which you really talked about in chapter 4. Uh, some of the stories you mentioned about topic modeling being used by librarians at the University of North Texas and at Virginia Polytechnic, they're both very interesting stories. What other library uses for topic modeling have you heard about?
So one can be you can use it for literature reviews. So if you have lost a lot of document you want to do, so the one major thing which I can think of right now is for literature review. So you can process it in topic modeling, then it give you major sub themes, and you can classify your documents in that, and you can do literature review for with that. And other than that, as I also covered, that you can use it for making anthologies. You can you can classify the document, like it is used for tagging, right? So it enriches your metadata. So instead of having like a bigger umbrella of just tagging the document with like politics, so you can also have the sub themes, like what the author is talking about within that document, which is on politics. So it is very useful technique, and I'm very like, because I have worked on use that in my PhD, so I'm very like close to it, and I tell everybody to use it for your work, especially the librarians. So it definitely helps you enrich your data, and also it gives you how you can do, um, for example, if you have seen Netflix, right? So if you saw one film, it gives you some percentage for the next film you may be thinking to watch, right? So using topic modeling also, you can give that percentage to your document. So if I read one book on digitization, for example, so if another book is coming there and it gives you like so if you read this book, maybe you're interested in this book also. So topic modeling will help you to make such interfaces.
Okay. So it's a very useful thing to do when you're contemplating text mining. Okay. I really like how you include lists of tools and packages for each concept you introduce, such as network text analysis or topic modeling, which again you handled in your presentation. Um, since you mentioned politics, I have to do that. Living in the United States, which is incredibly politically polarized right now, so it kind of ties into sentiment analysis. Um, think of the political. Oh, I think of Donald Trump. Some people think
Hmm.
he is a great man. Other people think he should be arrested. Uh, Sentiment analysis is going to be loaded anytime you do anything with politics. Is there any way to do sentiment analysis without running into extremes of emotion? Or maybe you want extremes of emotion. Maybe that's what you're looking for. I don't know.
So are you talking about like the instead of using emotion, like some other ways there, like
Well,
to
using emotions, yeah,
quantify? So
yeah.
it
How do you
knows.
deal with? Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, what were you
Uh,
going to say?
I was just saying that is sentiment analysis quantify it either like the text is subjective or objective, or they tell you is it very positive, neutral, or negative in nature. So it's mostly used for like if you go to Twitter and scrap all the like the tweets by Donald Trump account, or you can also go to the get his all his speeches and the other president you want to compare. So it you can like thousand of speech of Donald Trump versus some other president, you can compare like how positive or how negative those words his speech was. And also you can also get the words which are being used with him, which is related to which resulted the algorithm to give that as negative speech, right? And also using sentiment analysis, as you said, you can also see that how if the author, like if Donald Trump was in that speech very angry when he was talking about it, or was there is any fear, or what kind of emotion he was showing in those speeches. So in sentiment analysis, you can only mostly do that, like have either polarity, subjectivity, or the emotions related to the text.
So you can quantify in some ways the sentiments and the emotions. You can say this
Yes,
person was really, really angry, or this person was happy, or okay,
yes.
that's a good way to look at it. Yeah, I'll be really interested to hear what some of the results when researchers dive into that as we get into the presidential election here in 2024. Um, I was going to say something, and now I'm losing my thought here. Predictive modeling. You talked about that a lot in chapter 8. What is the best way to ensure that a predictive model is accurate?
So there's many evaluation metrics. So you can have confusion metrics to test it, like if your model is doing well. You have ROC, you have you can get the accuracy kappa value, F metric. So there are different kind of matrices where you can see like if your machine learning model has done good or not.
I would think one of the big problems is slang. For example, in certain contexts, the use of the word bad means good. He's a bad dude, and yeah, if you're trying to text mine that and you see bad over and over again, you must assume that it's evil, but it may not be that at all. How do you get around some of the weirdnesses of slang?
So yeah, this is
You have to
what
look at it.
in during the sentiment analysis. Yeah, this is the problem which we. This is still an ongoing research of using sarcasm or the slangs and the negations and the emojis, right? So this is still ongoing research, like how we can detect that and have some better algorithms for analyze them and detect that. So this is a just still
Okay.
a real world problem. It's not solved yet.
Something else you mentioned with predictive modeling is the perpetuation of biases in programming. You talk about that in chapter 8 and also in chapter 11. That's a problem, and you're not the only person to talk about that. A lot of people have worried that human beings are biased, and then the algorithms they develop are also biased. How can you work to make
Mhm.
sure that you have as little bias as possible in your algorithms?
Just be mindful of what kind of data you are doing, and for example, if just don't stick to one database, right? Have more enriched data from different databases. um, and also right now there are few packages available to test that, but they are mostly for, I think they're mostly for uh, structural like numbers data, but not for text data as such there. So still people are working on this problem of how to avoid biases in your data set. And yeah, so
Yeah, I like your idea of using more than one database. It kind of reminds me a lot of getting news, for example. If you want to be well informed, you can watch MSNBC, but you should also watch Fox News
mhm,
because you get different slants on the news from the different organizations. I'm dating myself here, but back during the Vietnam War, I used to sometimes tune in Radio Moscow because they would have a completely different slant on things that were going on in the United States, and it was interesting to listen to completely different ideas. And I guess you can apply some of that to text mining, as you said.
yes.
Oh, data visualization. I love the data visualization, and you probably know in ACES we have a whole SIG uh, dedicated to visualization, SIGVIZ. And how do you determine an appropriate visualization for a given data set? Uh, I've heard it said, you may remember the Challenger disaster in 1986, where the Challenger blew up because they didn't adequately prepare for the problems associated with cold on the rockets. And I remember one of the analyses I read of that was that they showed a number of graphs and things that were they had cute little pictures of rockets and things, but they didn't really convey what some of the problems were. So yeah, it's important, sometimes critically important, to make sure you're doing it correctly. How do you determine best way to visualize data?
Yeah, this is a whole, again, a whole like book. There are many books on that also, like what is the best way to do that, and what are the how you should keep in mind, like from which, for example, making a pie chart, is your data is good enough, like with a pie chart or with a graph chart, histogram, like which is the best technique to choose them. In Because my book was only on text mining, so my in this chapter I mostly included only how you can work with the text data and what are the different ways you can use to visualize that, but not the other kind of data like numbers data mostly. So we have worked on, like, there are scatter plot and different kind of plots you can use then. And also in the book we also include a whole list of, like, I think 12 or 13 steps, like how you can make them more clear, use less text. And yeah, so for your different problem you have to choose your different kind of visualization technique, and which can best represent your research or data.
Yeah. That's true. If you have a slide with too much text in it, people will get, "Whoa, I can't read all of this." And so, yeah, the visualization can certainly save you a lot of problems there. We still have time for a few more questions. If someone wants to use their questions tab, again, it's in the upper right corner of your GoToMeeting software. We have about 5 more minutes to talk here. You'll be able to talk directly with Dr. Monica Lamba, and happy to take your questions. Please use the questions tab in your GoToMeeting software. Oh, well, let's talk about the data research life cycle. I really enjoyed reading about that too. You point out that information professionals, or librarians if you wish, can assist the researchers at each stage of the life cycle. I have to confess that many librarians would say that researchers often don't seek or even want librarians' help. Uh, how do we get around that? Is there some way we can advertise that, hey, we do more than just shelve books. We can really really help you with your research. Any thoughts on that?
I think this is now being more inclusive. Like when you submit a research paper to journal, right? So they are asking for your data now. It's like compulsory. You have to give your data set. So, and also maybe include how you have like data available there. So once you input your data in any repository, they ask you like, okay, when you collected it and the whole thing. So yeah, now I think it's a high time, like we have to record it and have the different versions, use data citations, like when you and it's also benefit you, like if you have a data somewhere and somebody use your data, you get a citation for that. For And it also like it's like more of like somebody doesn't have to go through the whole pain of collecting the same data again. So you should for any research project, if it's IRB sanctioned, you have to give them a research data management plan, like how will you go through it, and how long will you keep it, and when you will who will able to see it, will be anonymized or not, like which team member you will be sharing your data with. So this is for any kind of research, you have to do it.
Okay, that's a good point. We could talk a lot longer, Monica, but I am afraid we are out of time. So thank you very much for an interesting presentation and discussion. Again, Monica Lamba is the co-author of Text Mining for Information Professionals, an Uncharted Territory. She wrote that with Marga Mahusadan, is published by Springer in 2022, and is available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and wherever quality books are sold. And now, back to Kim Granados.
Thank you, Steve. And I'd like to thank Monica for presenting this very informative webinar. And Steve, as always, thank you to you for moderating, for reading all these books and coming up with some great questions. I want to remind our listeners that one of the many ACES benefits is complimentary access to all webinars. This is our second to last, our penultimate one for this 2023 season. We have one on the 14th, but don't fear. There's a ton recorded that, over the holidays. If you're missing Steve's voice like I will, please go in and listen to all these 3 years of webinars are out there. Today's was recorded as well, and a copy of the slides will be posted to the ACES website by tomorrow and will be available to all ACES members and paid registrants. Within 24 hours, attendees will receive an email with a recording of the webinar and a survey, and I encourage you to complete it within 7 days. Again, I'm Kim Granados with ACES staff. I thank you for attending today's webinar. Hope to see you next week.